Mexico, they call Mexico.
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 Mexico. Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt. I just wanted, is Navtij on here?
Sorry?
Is Navjeet or Navtij on here?
Naftaj.
Navtaj, pardon me.
Who am I
I
speaking
just
to?
wanted to make sure I'm in the right meeting here, sir.
All right, no problem. Who am I speaking to?
Justin Fournier, I called you last
All
week. You
right.
told me to jump in
Sure,
here.
excellent. Oh, now we also have our good friend Brett. Brett, how do you do, sir?
Doing amazing, Naftash. How are you?
Good. Long time no see, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Too long.
Are you in town? Are you
I'm in Brampton.
okay? Oh, okay, excellent.
Yeah,
Haven't seen you for a very long time.
I know.
5 years plus.
Maybe.
Yeah, time flies.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna start pretty soon for the next 2 or 3 minutes. Actually, I was in Brampton this morning doing a radio show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What channel or what
Oh, no, it's
what
one of
station?
those ethnic channel.
Yeah.
Pretty strong one. Pretty strong in our community, and discussing about how to do some wholesaling business. And for average person is a little too much. They say, what is exactly real estate wholesaling is all about? How you guys do it? How you do it virtually? Is it possible? And some people go as far as, hey, is it a scam? Or, then you try to educate them to some degree. And some people will remain skeptical, some are open. It's fun. And
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
also share some of the stuff. Hey, these are the benefits available for all Canadians. Please take advantage of it. And giving them some rude awakening about taxes and how much money they are giving it away.
Yeah.
So, all right. I'm not sure. Jyoti, are you here? Or attorney? No. Hi, Kevin. Oh, how are you
Hey,
doing,
Nav.
sir?
How you doing? Hey, Nav.
Very good. Is it a
Excellent.
suntan or is just you are and the lighting is like a little different? Or you got some suntan?
Oh, Nav, yeah, I just got back from Mexico. I was down there for a bit. It was nice.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Now we know where you go and you don't tell us.
Yeah, I kind of snuck away there.
Okay, so David is going next week as well now. David Grossman is going there too.
Nice.
Where did you go?
What part were you in? A little part, Sayulita. So it's not sure if it's a small town just outside of Puerto Vallarta on the west coast.
That's a beautiful place to go.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Winter was not bad at all this winter so far, especially in Toronto. But I think they got a little bit in Vancouver. Okay, I can. All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Navtaj Chandok. Tonight is a makeup meeting. We missed it actually last Tuesday. I sincerely want to apologize on behalf of my staff, my team, and unfortunately, we had a new staff member did not know much about this thing, so got mixed up. So tonight going to be full of a lot of information available for you. This information is belongs to what happened today. Inflation numbers were in. We have a couple of experts here tonight. It's gonna be we're gonna also have a couple of superstars as well in this meeting tonight. We can discuss several different things, and I'm gonna be also sharing with you. We'll try to finish the meeting in less than 90 minutes. And at last 10 to 15 minutes, we're gonna have networking time where all of you will be able to speak to each other, see each other, and take it from there. And anybody want to present a deal or want to make some offer, make sure you let us know ahead of the time. That's the only way we allow you to do that, just to make sure that we vet everybody before you go in there. So we are running this PREIG Canada since 2005, building relationship. This business is all about relationship. Who do you know? What do you know? People don't work with strangers. always get an idea, and everybody is a super valuable person. No matter who you are, what you are, you bring something on the table. So make sure that all the information you get, you check it out, no matter what and where this came from. Check the sources before you implement any information that's important for you. So here's the breaking news. So some of you might know about it, that an inflation number, and there are going to be a several different interpretation to it. David, what do you make of it, this one?
Yeah, well, this is the news that we've been waiting for and hoping for. There was a lot of up and down and back and forth, and so it's good news. I think people need it. People need a break, whether you're looking to buy real estate or anything. Everybody's been feeling the pinch. The economy is definitely slower, and this is a relief, I think, and I think most people would agree.
Yes, I do believe that inflation should come under, except the February, really February, the food prices used to go about 10% up. This is normal. And we will see how does it go and how does it translate into the next meeting, I believe is March 6th. Is that correct, David?
I believe that's correct.
Okay, so my projection is in the month of June or July, they're going to reduce by 0.25%, but we're going to keep our finger crossed. Just like anybody else, everybody is good. Whoever can kind of, it's all kind of, hey, that's what I think. That's what it is, though. So some of these Canadians in the real estate who are pretty shrewd or have proper education information are making a good chunk of money, other are losing their shirt. So here's something I'd like to share with you quickly, and some of you might have heard about a couple of things, but I'd like to share something which popped out recently, which was high in the media. A builder in close to Ottawa called Carton Place sold the townhouses for 900,000, and some of these people defaulted on the original purchase, and now the builder has sold the same townhouses for 500,000. So when you do not close, when you enter a transaction, you do not close, it's called breach of contract. And at that time, the seller or the builder can sell the property and come up of all the losses after you. So this is going to be a bit of a dance in the courts for next 3 to 5 years. But just imagine that somebody bought a townhouse for 900,000 and you bought the townhouse for 500,000. Yikes. But that's not the only case. It is everywhere across Canada, but this was something in the headlines. And there's another one in headlines was this young lady working for Microsoft lost her house because she lost her job. And now because of the value have gone down substantially, so she might have to not only face the foreclosure or power sale, she might have to file a bankruptcy. So this is going to continue for 2026. Unfortunately, not everybody can handle this inflated high interest rate, which came out of nowhere, but nobody was ready for it. So unfortunately, when you are doing something, it's better to talk to experts like David Rossman, Randy Goodman, and a couple of other good people here. It's always a good idea to seek the advice from experts, and they have been around for a very long time. They are the most respectable people in our industry, and their advice doesn't cost you anything, though. Here is another scenario where Mike Holmes have approved some houses and they need to be demolished. This is such a bad construction. And the fun part of this one is here, those houses are not, and this is going to continue. I hope some of you, I hope nobody in our group have bought these properties, but it's just really sad to see that somebody with such a good name will endorse a builder, and this builder was a disaster. And this nightmare continues. The idea is who's going to be responsible, who shouldn't be responsible for it. We'll get to know the story as we go along, but this thing happened whenever there's a boom, shoddy work, lack of not proper trade work, not materials. There could be many things to it, but that's what it says on the surface, though. So here's some good news. Most of people do not know that Alberta have two big towns where the population is more than 1 million. And there's no other province who has more than 1 million population in a city yet. Calgary and Edmonton's population is over 1 million. As a matter of fact, the population for Saskatchewan is less than 1 million. So if you look at the Toronto, Montreal, or Vancouver, or Calgary, Edmonton, I mean, even Edmonton's population is more than population of both Saskatchewan. Just thought I should just share with you. And this is something that is. So what is happening with our debt and why this debt is growing for certain type of people compared to people who are extremely wealthy. Again, money management, surprise, surprise, surprise. Interest rates goes up, everything goes up. This is a lot of people got caught in this thing. It might be a bit hard, but if they stay, have a good plan, have a good advisor on their hand, it can be workable. I have seen it in 81 when the interest rates were 22% for first mortgage. By the way, just to let you know, inflation rate was 12%. I was here, 81. And we weathered no problem. Weathered it. It was difficult at times, but hey, this is not the first time we are facing this. This is not the last time. But again, it's okay to be ahead of it and pre-plan it, what you're going to be doing. Oh, my good friend, I shouldn't say good friend. I met Pierre Paul and I asked him a couple of hardcore questions. Unfortunately, their staff did not allow me to record it for you, but I asked him all the questions about what exactly is happening, what they plan to do, how the government works, and what is their plans. There are a couple of answers which were kind of nice. A couple of them were not very nice. So, okay. So here is how much you guys gonna owe us. All of us owe about $1,750 per person, 23, 24, for the debt we have in Canada, $81.1 billion interest payment. That's payments only. And next time you talk to MPP, MPP, or any of the government officials, hey, just be aware of it, where the tax dollars are going. Well, the Canadian mortgage will drop. That's the answer we're going to get from David Rossman. David?
So, I think that we're probably still looking at the second half of the year. We'll have an opportunity to, actually, we won't have more results coming up. We just had the figures for January. I'm not sure if we'll have February's inflation. I don't think we're going to see a rate drop, if that's what you're asking me, in March. I don't think we're going to see. I think we're looking at rate drops in the second half of the year. But that's just my opinion. So I think most people would agree. But this and the news just came out today, right, about inflation finally coming down a little bit.
Right.
And there were worries before. So we haven't really heard from all of the pundits as of yet. So there is a possibility that we'll see the overnight rate come down in March, but we don't know for sure at this point in time.
All right. Well, that's fair enough. In my opinion, we will see tomorrow or day after tomorrow. You're going to see a lot of headlines and a lot of stuff on the TV and radios and on the social media. What this number means to them, how everybody gonna translate it. But hey, stay in tune, and it does affect us. So here is some of the areas where property have gone up and have gone down, and that's something people need to be aware. And where was the highest appreciation in last 10 years? Surprise, surprise, London St. Thomas came first, never came second. And a lot of people don't realize it, that Calgary and Alberta itself did not have much appreciation from 2008 to 2020. All 13 years. They had a boom in 2006. After that, the market did collapse there. But it's good to know where the market is going, which area of the market there is a room for growth. By the way, Vancouver is coming back very strongly, so is Toronto. But those are much bigger properties or much bigger expensive markets. But these are some of the stuff, we should be looking at it. In case you want to take a quick picture of this slide, please grab your camera if you happen to be on the computer. And now there are some markets apart from Alberta, which in my opinion can be a good one markets, which include St. John's and Regina. Even Quebec have not picked up as much, but I do believe the market which have a much better chance to boom, definitely going to be Regina if you're looking at a multi-units. Edmonton is still dirt cheap. St. John is also good. Saskatoon and Winnipeg and Calgary is booming much faster. Booming like people are just going crazy. I mean, all Canadians are moving from all over the places to Alberta right now, and there is a huge appreciation of Alberta. Here is a deal. I don't know if any of you went to Malaysia or Singapore, and they have a swimming pool, I believe, on 40th floor. And there is also, it's called Burj Khalifa in Dubai. I think it's 120 stories. So this is a suite right here in the middle of two buildings. And I think it's up for sale for 3.9 million, but 4,000 square feet, you are in the air between two condos. One of a kind building, come with 3 spots. Just thought I'd share with you. Occasionally, people get fascinated, and sometimes these properties can be a great money maker because it could be good for movies. If you decided even to rent for a month or two, you can ask quite a good chunk of money for it. But if you want to invest for 3.4 mil, it could be good return on the money though. This is a one-of-a-kind properties which do not come in the market that often. This is Oriole Gardens, those who know it, again for $3 million. This is a great deal. I'm not too sure if it's still available, but the cap rate is barely 3.24. It's all about the neighborhood. I mean, this building is, I believe, 4 units only. If you look at this building compared to other, these are the super expensive buildings in the top-notch area of Toronto. So here's the big deal. Investors, I will not call them investors, most of the speculators are hurting which own condos. Anybody who own a condo is definitely have a couple $1,000 negative cash flow. And most of them who have bought it on the peak or who are going to be closing soon, this is the only area across Canada, I will say, where people are going through some difficult time when you're investing only in condos instead of houses, townhouses. And even though there's a huge number and those speculators hurting, they're filing bankruptcies day by day. You got the reports. And this is the other area one should look into if you're going to pick them up. So this is the year of challenge. 2024, 25, 26, when the people who have fixed rate mortgages going to up for renewal. David, what do you think of this? From 1.5 to 6%?
Yeah, well, it's you're talking about rates now, right? Having gone up from one and a
I'm
half
talking
to
about the number of people who have to renew the mortgages.
right. I see. Yeah. Well, it's going to be shocking for a lot of people, and it has been shocking because there's been a lot of renewals, and it's going to get worse. So that's why I think they're going to bring the rates down later this year, to try and combat that. And they don't want to see people. They don't want blood on the streets, right? At the same, on the one hand, they don't want prices to continue to skyrocket because they know housing's unaffordable, but at the same time, they don't want blood on the streets. So banks are making certain allowances for people, and they'll continue to do so to avoid panic in the markets.
You're right. Well, this is where we heard the first time terminology, which is negative amortization People have 30, 40, 50, 60, up to 90 years. It's going to take them 90 years to pay off the house. So there was all kind of stuff came in, and there's still a lot of stuff to come out. The banks do not want to pull the plug on quickly. And that's something, we'll be sharing a little bit more with you as we gonna get David to ask you a question. So will the value of clean resale go up, down, or will stay the same in 2024? So Randy?
It can go any direction. Right now, we're seeing like some crazy multiple offers in certain areas on some properties. So that obviously will cause the houses to go up in price. If the listings, we expect the listings to go up as well with spring coming. So that'll give people more options, less competition, but then you still have the buyers in the market. So it's, if I could predict everything, I would be a zillionaire, but, they say maybe a few percent it'll go up, and then you hear other sources that say, it'll stay the same or it'll go down. So we have to see what's going to happen this year.
Exactly. David Grossman?
Well, I think it depends, on what market, right? I mean, some markets are better than others. I've heard there's a real glut now in luxury waterfront, for example, right? People went a little bit nuts on that, so prices are going down there. But in towns where there's good fundamentals, a strong economy. We're certainly not going to see any major changes. You had sent a listing to me a couple days ago about a property in Wasaga Beach where I live.
Yes.
And there are definitely some good deals out here. And there are good deals everywhere now because rates are still high. And as a result, there's opportunities for buyers who can handle the higher payment now. Um, and so I think it really varies. But I hear the condo market in Toronto is soft, for
Yes.
example,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it depends on the product, and it depends on the segment of the market and the location. So there's a number of factors, and you gotta focus on value. And if you're a real estate investor, can you add value to the property? Can you increase the rents? Even if you can keep a neutral cash flow now, you'll be in for a windfall later once rates start coming down. You'll have a really nice positive cash flow as long as you can handle the higher payments today.
Right. Jyoti?
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, that's good. So we are all hoping for a cut in the mortgage rates, and it seems that that's not going to happen until later this year, maybe
dig into the new plastic.
July, August. So until then, people have to put up with the high interest rates and plan to either build extra units and rent them out, or whatever they need to do, they have to do. And if the mortgage is up for renewal, then maybe if you're lucky enough to have your mortgage being renewed in, say, September or August, you may be lucky to see some decrease in the interest rate. And then you have to decide whether you want to go variable or you want to go fixed.
All right. Brett?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would like to hope that in the GTA that most of the home values would stay the same. The real problem is cash flow. There is no positive cash flow. So as a result, I think the best thing to do is buy properties outside of the GTA where it does give you positive cash flow.
All right, Leonard.
Hello.
Hi, Leonard, go ahead, sir.
Hey. Well, according to GT home sales, they thinking it's about 77,000 in 2024 sales will expected to be happening, and they
Right.
think it's about 1.2 million average price maybe come to the average price of selling is going to come to it. But when you look at the leasing side of it, if they increase any more leasing, the survey says that all the leasers going to be just, looking into buying the property too.
Right.
But when you look at the condos that 2023, because of the worsen the affordability, the condos projects came down and also condo project delayed. But according to the meeting we had with the builders yesterday, so they actually launching a lot of projects coming up in another few months and this year. So that looking much more promising in the new construction VIP condo sites.
Yeah.
And when you look at the sales wise, that almost the people listing, it's about 37% compared to last year. It's about 2% decline. But same time that almost 25% of immigrant thinking of that buying the property too. When you look at that way, that because of the looking ahead in 2024, I think record number of immigration levels are adding to the backlog of buyers, and that can I think that brought the inflation to the the 2.9%, and then I think the Bank of Canada might be thinking of declining the interest rate in the maybe after April, like my colleague said, maybe second half of the year.
Right. Well, the increase of interest rate have actually pushed a couple of builders to foreclosures and receivership. I'm going to be sharing information with you. And also going to be sharing some information with you. The fact I'm sure Randy going to share with you, even though sales have gone up quite a bit in Toronto and Vancouver, but the prices are still declined 7th month in a row. But we will let them do all the talking with all the facts with us. Thank you, Leonard. Appreciate it, my friend. So this is Canadian turning bullish. This is what we discussed earlier. I'm going to move to the, if anybody is facing the foreclosure, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to assist you, help you if you're facing that word, not after that word, what the peer said the other day. And WTF, where are the funds? Some of you got the joke, some of you don't. So these are the dates, in case you want to know that. The next date is March 6th for Bank of Canada. And there are two types of different dates, by the way, when Bank of Canada do the interest rate announcement, and also they do the monetary policy report. So altogether, there are 8 reports a year altogether. All these dates or times are fixed ahead of time. In my opinion, based upon whatever I got the information, I believe June 5th or July 24th will be the first date. Based upon majority of the projections, there will be a slightly drop, maybe 0.25% of a rate. But we never know, again, based upon all the numbers, inflations and some other reasons as well, which is also the war in Ukraine, war in the Middle East, and other conflicts going on in the universe, and as well as we are fighting our own battles with some political parties to whatever. But again, March 6th, we'll keep ourselves. We're going to have a meeting after that, but we'll be sharing with you. The next thing I'd like to share with you, real estate jumped by 39% higher. Again, this is something Randy will be speaking shortly about it. So here is my sister. She is the only person I know who's the international bestseller, not 10 times, 11 times, and going to go 12th pretty soon. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Randy Goodman. She is the top-notch realtor and international speaker, and I can proud to call her my sister from a long time. Randy, it's all yours, my friend.
Thank you, my brother. Love it, love it, love it. And thank you for having me. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about a couple things. So one is TRESA, better protection for real estate consumers. And TRESA is replacing the Real Estate and Business Brokers Act, or REBA. what happens when a brokerage represents a seller and a buyer? Well, multiple representation is still permitted with one additional disclosure requirement. So we always had multiple representation, but they've changed the rules slightly just to make it more clear. The brokerage must disclose this fact to every buyer who makes a written offer as soon as possible after getting the written offer and before any offer is accepted. So everybody needs to know there's multiple offer going on. A brokerage representing a seller and buyer has the option of practicing designated representation. Designated representation means that the duty owed to the clients would apply to the designated agent within a brokerage, not the brokerage and all of its registrants. Designated representation allows consumers to receive representation without limitations surrounding matters involving money and/or motivation. This was created to eliminate the confusion the consumers had about whether the realtor or the brokerage was representing them. So why the change? REBA and its regulations currently provide for registrants or realtors to work with clients under a representation agreement and with customers under an agreement to provide services. So this is the old method. This has been a source of confusion as the public are often times confused about the differences between the two terms and the obligations registrants owe to either the customer or client. Registrants are required to promote and protect the best interests of their clients only. The proposed changes are intended to simplify and help the public understand their choices for engaging or interacting with the registrant, as well as the different obligations registrants have under the different forms of engagement or interaction. The introduction of the term SRP, or self-represented party, clearly establishes whether a consumer is represented or not. The rule of thumb to determine whether the realtor is providing assistance comes down to if they're using their own judgment or skill as a realtor. Some examples of assistance allowed include providing general real estate marketing info, a list of home inspectors, list of lenders, list of homes sold in the city. Examples of non-permissible activities include preparing a comprehensive market analysis, which means doing a comparable on your property, drafting an agreement of purchase and sale, providing advice about what to offer or what to accept, and showing another brokerage's listing to an SRP buyer. If a buyer who chooses to be self-represented asks to be shown another brokerage's listing, we can't. TRESA is clear that we can only provide assistance as a service provided to a client. Another brokerage's seller is not our client. On another note, under TRESA, a seller can direct that the contents of competing offers be shared with every person who makes an offer. The seller can choose to disclose as few or as many details of an offer or offers as they choose, as long as the information shared is not personal info like the buyer's name or address. So that's on that point. Now I'm going to go over to this new RICO guide that came out. So there's an information guide. It's a new document that will be produced by the Real Estate Council of Ontario, or RICO. It is aimed at enhancing consumer protection by providing consumers with background knowledge of the obligations that their registrant has to them and vice versa. The information guide contains info about the following points: the benefits of being a client, the duties and obligations owed to clients, the obligations of clients, the risks of receiving assistance as an SRP from a registrant representing a client in the transaction, the content of agreements with brokerages, including remuneration arrangements, and how to bring a concern to the attention of the brokerage or file a complaint with RICO. New changes have also come on the topic of exclusive listings. Restrictions on how homes that are exclusively listed for sale can be advertised. First, let me explain the difference between the two. So an exclusive listing agreement is a contract between a real estate agent and a seller that grants the agent the exclusive right to sell a property for a specific period. It means that the seller cannot work with any other agents or brokerages during this time and must rely solely on the agent they've contracted with. A non-exclusive listing agreement is a contract between a real estate agent and a seller that grants the agent the right to list the property for sale, but it does not guarantee exclusivity. The seller is free to work with other agents and brokers during the listing period, and they are not obligated to use the services of the agent who holds the non-exclusive listing agreement. An exclusive listing arrangement means you're granting your agent exclusive access to find a buyer for your home. With this type of agreement, no other agent will bring potential buyers to your home because only the listing agent is entitled to the commission, but they can if they choose to share. After an agreed period of time, you can arrange with your agent to have the listing appear on MLS. The exclusive listing agreement is advantageous for both the agent and the seller. For the agent, it ensures that they have an exclusive opportunity to market and sell the property and can invest their time and resources into a successful sale. For the seller, it provides the assurance that the agent is working exclusively on their behalf, which can help to build trust and confidence in the agent's ability to sell the property for the best possible price. A non-exclusive listing agreement means your listing will be posted on the MLS system and other agents will have the opportunity to bring potential buyers to your home. The main difference between exclusive and non-exclusive listing agreements is the level of commitment and the control the seller grants to the agent. While an exclusive agreement provides more dedicated services, a non-exclusive agreement allows for greater flexibility and the ability to shop for the best agent. June 3rd, 2024, new rules came into effect. Under the policy, once a residential property is publicly marked, a realtor must place the property on the MLS system. Public marketing is defined as one-to-many. For example, flyers, yard signs, digital marketing, newsletters. One-to-one marketing does not trigger the policy. The policy recognizes not every seller wants their property to be advertised. Under this new requirement, exclusives remain as an option for sellers who do not want broad exposure for their property to the public. Realtors can still make these exclusive listings still market them within their own offices or in one-to-one direct communications with other realtors outside their offices. If public marketing occurs, the public requires realtors to place the residential listing on the MLS system within the time frame adopted by their board or association, unless an exemption applies. The policy provides that this time frame may be up to a maximum of 3 days. Limited marketing practices can be misused to hype interest and drive a sale before many realtors and their buyers even had a chance to submit a bid. These practices may not be in the client's best interest and diminish the efficiency, value, and benefits that MLS systems provide to realtors and Canadian consumers. Quoted by Janice Myers from PREIG. They are trying to better protect the public and the sellers by doing all of this. So food for thought, new changes have come in and we're all trying to get used to them.
Excellent. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate that. You're gonna hang around. If anybody have any questions, please feel free to talk directly to her, 647-284-7601. That's the number. Or she's gonna be hanging around, and you can always go to randygoodman.com. That's the website. And she is the most recommended realtor for investors, especially if you're in GTA, but she can handle all income producing properties all across Canada. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
We are going to bring our next guest speaker. This guest speaker is so special. She has a law degree from not from one place, not from two, up to 3 places. She has law degree from India, law degree from UK and also law degree from Canada. So she have much wider experience and knowledge when people come in. Of course, Canada is the country of all the new immigrants or new Canadians, and I suggest that she's one of the best person to understand and how to handle that. Some people have issues and affairs, and hey, what are we supposed to do? And this could work very well for them. Jyoti, are you there, my friend?
Thank you, Navtaj, for the excellent introduction as always. While we debate the mortgage rate cuts or whatever, which we are hoping we will see by the latter part of the year, there are certain things which are not affected by mortgage rates as much, and that is when you have a lease of a property. A lot of people lease commercial property, and I'm going to be talking about that today. A lot of professionals have to lease their offices, doctors, lawyers, dentists, and so on and so forth. So basically, today I will be talking about the pros and cons of, having a lawyer review the lease. There are no cons, obviously. I'll be talking about the pros. So it is best to have a lawyer review the lease before you sign it so that you know what you're signing. That is number one. Now, there are certain clauses which are always inserted into these kind of leases by the landlord, and they are for the benefit of the landlord, but not so much for the benefit of the tenant leasing the property. So a landlord will normally insert a clause in the lease that states that if you assign a lease, you are still on the hook if the new tenant defaults. So that is the number one issue that tenants face. If they want to leave the lease and if they want to assign the lease, then if the new tenant defaults, they're still on the hook. So you have to review these clauses and the indemnities and guarantees that the landlord is asking you to sign. That is very important. So having a lawyer review these clauses is equally important so that you know exactly what you're signing and you can negotiate with the landlord to have the indemnity or guarantee section of the lease waived based on your profession and the kind of office or the kind of practice that you're going to be doing in that particular office. The next point is, say you're a dentist. You don't want another dentist being a neighbor and opening up a clinic next door to you. So it would be ideal to have the landlord put in an airtight exclusivity clause, which will reduce the local competition and allow the practice of the professional to flourish. So that is another important point that is always to be negotiated with the landlord. The other thing is the renewal option. And this is always an area where tenants and landlords are not in agreement most of the time. Tenants want a long-term lease with a renewal period in the middle, whereas the landlord wants a shorter deal so that the rents can be renegotiated and raised incrementally to match the fair market value of similar premises in the surrounding area. But as a professional, you don't want your rent raised on you every few years. So you can ask a lawyer to negotiate the right to, renewal options that you can have. The other thing you can have your lawyer negotiate is an option to purchase. Sometimes you may want to rent and negotiate an option to purchase because you basically spend so much time building up your practice in that particular location, and you don't want to leave that practice and that location to go and again start the process all over again. So it would be in the tenant's interest or the professional interest to have the lawyer negotiate an option to purchase a unit rather than losing all the goodwill and the reputation you have built in your community over the years. There are other considerations that you should have in mind when you're leasing. Say something happens to your license. If you're not able to practice your particular profession, so what happens in case of loss of license or death or disability? That is also a negotiation that is important, and that should be done with the help of a lawyer. So you have your interests, well protected, and the wording is, beneficial to the tenant as well, and not ambiguous. So these are basically the clauses that need to be thought about and negotiated by the lawyer. Also, you can ask a lawyer to negotiate an early termination clause. So what you can do is ask the lawyer to put in a clause which says that the tenant can vacate the lease or terminate the lease, provided that the tenant pays a termination charge equal to 1 month's rent plus $50 for every month remaining on the lease, or the maximum allowable by law, whichever is less. So if that clause is there, at least the tenants are able to, give a termination notice with 45 days written notice to the landlord, and that can take care of a few of the damages that the tenant can incur if he's terminating the lease in between the lease period. So having your lease reviewed by a lawyer and negotiated by a lawyer is very important. You need the exclusivity, you need clauses for indemnities and the renewal option and the option to purchase. You may also want to sublet so that your costs are reduced, or if you found a better place and you want to go elsewhere, then at least you can sublet the place and move on. So have your lawyer review the lease and negotiate on your behalf. And you can call me anytime. I'm located in downtown Brampton, and the telephone number is on the screen. And my cell is best to call me on my cell, 416-880-8759. Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Jyoti.
Thank you, Namtaj.
Well, the best way to consult a lawyer is before, never after. Always
That is right.
consult a lawyer. Number two, a contract only must be designed, written, and approved by lawyers only. Do not sign any documentation unless you're dealing with a realtor or a mortgage broker. They're also bona fide professionals, and they carry a huge insurance, and they're professionals. When it comes to leasing, that's a different ballgame. During COVID, a lot of people become a victim of it. A lot of them have to move their things, and we still are going through it. A lot of office space is still getting empty, and a lot of people are still struggling with it. That was an excellent topic. Thanks, Jyoti. Appreciate it. Now we're
You're
gonna
welcome.
move. So most of Canadians do not realize that. What they don't realize, an average Canadian will pay about 45.3% of your income toward the taxes. So want to hear the bad news? Here's the bad news. Every single cent you're going to earn till June 19th this year, you're not taking a single cent home. That's called Tax Freedom Day. Ladies and gentlemen, we pay a lot of taxes. Do we get all the benefits? I'm afraid to say most of the Canadians don't use any of them. Sad but truth. We give more money to the taxes than our housing, food, and our clothing. Yikes. Just thought I just share with you. We would not be able to we don't have today our good friend Jerry Hogan Hout. He is out and about on vacationing. And we will skip this part of tax savings things tonight. How much Canadian pay taxes and so on. I will definitely be able to cover it. So we're going to talk about interest and what happened in 1975. If you notice that what were the interest rates like in 1981, 82, what were the fixed rates were, what were the variable rates are, and what did we pay and what are we paying now? It's good to know about the history, how everything goes back and forth, and these cycles do repeat again and again and again. So don't you ever think this is the only time you're going to face inflation or this is a low interest rate we're going to have. Hey, most of the time, majority of us who are baby boomers have paid most of the interest in double digits, over 10, 12, 13%. Just thought I'd share with you. So here is something we want to talk about tonight. 62% of the Canadians, they are nightmare about this mortgage renewal. Yike. That's a humongous amount of money. 2/3 of Canadians have anxiety. And that's not good. This is a hottest topic. We need to address that tonight. And for us to discuss all that, we are going to bring our good and one of the best gentlemen, Dave Grossman, who has been a great help for me from day one. He helped me to establish our club. David, it's all yours, my friend. What would you like to discuss tonight?
All right, thanks, Navtash. First of all, I just have to say I have a solution to the tax problem. I'm not an accountant, but you mentioned that June 19th is Tax Freedom Day. And
Right.
that all the work that you do up until June 19th is to go to the government. So my solution is to basically do nothing until June 19th and then start working after that. What do you think?
Excellent. Excellent, sir. Thank you. We'll see how
Okay,
does that work.
so you had asked me last week, and because last week was Valentine's Day, so I did my research, and what I found was yes, that indeed, the higher rates are stressing people out. So of course, since it was Valentine's Day, the information was a little biased. 50% of people saying that higher mortgage rates are affecting their love life. It's reducing the amount of travel that they're doing. It's reducing the amount of time that they spend going out. And it also, they've been canceling their streaming services. If you can believe that people are canceling Netflix and other streaming services, that I can't even imagine. But I suppose it's true. So for sure, it's stressing people out, and some people are taking advantage of the opportunity now with the softer market and house prices down and charging ahead and buying properties even at the higher rates because they know that rates will come down probably second half of the year, and they're going to capitalize. So, and I also read that 45,000 Ontario real estate agents have left the business. Randy, you can validate. That was in the Toronto Star. Volumes are down something like 40%. I don't have the figures for mortgage brokers, but it's probably something similar. So everybody is feeling it. Everybody is feeling the pinch, and that's why we've been waiting for this news. Top two tips for Canadians who are renewing their mortgages. Well, first of all, you got to shop around. You got to look into options. We've always said you can shop. There's some great opportunities for people if your mortgage or if the property value is less than $1 million, you can get a mortgage that's you can get it insured. And you may think and I have to tell you honestly, from my own personal experience, this as a mortgage broker, this is business that I shied away from for many years. I've been a mortgage agent and a broker for 20 years. And early on in my business, I remember chasing after this client, getting him to sign, you know, and I thought I had a deal. And what does he do? Of course, they go back to their bank and they say, look, I'm going to leave. We need a payout statement or something to that effect. And the bank has the last crack at it. So they dropped the price at the last minute, and I did all the work for nothing. So I have to admit, for many, many years, I shied away from this business. But there's a lot of hungry lenders out there right now, and they're making it more attractive. So when your mortgage comes up for renewal, whether you end up leaving the institution that you're with or not, you should shop around. And you can also look for an opportunity to maybe, if you have equity, get a HELOC, because you can transfer the mortgage to another institution and get a HELOC. When is the right time to get a HELOC? Whether you need the money now or not, when you qualify, if you are gainfully employed, get that HELOC now, because one never knows what the future will bring. Get it now. It's there for you. If you see an opportunity, take advantage of a real estate purchase or whatever comes along in life, you'll have access to the equity in your home at institutional rates. If you qualify, get it done now. So that's another thing that you should look at when you are renewing. Shop around, consider getting a HELOC. And, the other thing we've talked about, NAV, rates are going up, going down. I feel it's like picking stocks. And you know that anybody who's in the financial business will tell you that you should not be out picking stocks. You need a proper diversified portfolio. You need to be looking at where you're investing. You need to look at what markets, what industries. You don't want to be picking stocks the same way. Your day should not be made or ruined if rates go up a little bit. So any investors out there should have a healthy measure of diversification, both in real estate and outside of real estate. And I know I've talked to some of your members in the past, Navtash, some very creative people who are looking at adding value to properties. Where can you look at properties where you can change the use of a property, where you can add units, and that's where the money is going to be made. And it shouldn't make a big difference. In fact, when rates are up, prices are down, so there's opportunities out there. And that's basically my message for today. Let me see if and if you're buying real estate as an investment, it should be with money that you can afford to lose. Let's be honest. It should be with money that you can afford to lose if you're speculating on real estate. So be careful. Make sure you have some money in a buffer there to service the debt if you have a bad tenant, if your property needs some repairs. Somebody came to me recently who was about 70 years old. This person had worked all their life at a high-paying job, senior level person. They were retiring, and they went out and thought he was doing the greatest thing in the world. He went out and bought a condo for his daughter, condo for his son, and a condo for his brother. And he thought he was going to be the hero, and he was going to go sailing off into retirement. Well, of course, we know what happened, right? Prices went down, interest rates went up. Now his kids, you can't find them. They don't want to talk to him because the properties are in their name. And he's in real trouble, 70 years old, after working a lifetime as a highly paid professional. No offense, Randy, but and I'm not saying you would do this, but real estate agents are not financial planners. And if you, some of you may know, I'm a licensed dealing representative, and it's not to pat myself on the back, but I'm just telling you the rules around what we're allowed to sell people if they want to invest in apartment REITs or, passive real estate investments. They are very, very strict. Like, you can't put more than 10% of your liquid assets into any single fund. You can't put more than about 40% of all your liquid assets into the private markets at all. So, but there's none of that. And it's the same in mortgages. People have invested in private mortgages and they don't necessarily understand about diversification as well. So diversify, look for opportunities where you can add value, and don't invest. If you're going to speculate, make sure it's money that you can afford to lose. That's my message for today.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that, my friend. Once
Thank you.
again, David Grossman, rockyourmortgage.ca. That's his website. He's been a great friend, great advisor. If you can look into that, David, I sent you a text message for another lead. Gentleman wanted to finance 4 more properties. We'll discuss that shortly. So let's get into our nitty-gritties about real estate. I'm gonna be giving you some itsy-bitsy news, some good ones, some bad ones, some ugly ones, and some are the tips tonight. I'm gonna make it short and sweet. Hopefully we'll be done very quickly. We have a lot of great people online tonight. Even we have Rick, no, sorry. I'll be sharing with you. I'm gonna share with you in a second. So here is the deal about Toronto. What exactly is happening in Toronto when it comes to real estate? What happened to sales? So when you look at these facts and sales, this how the sales go up and down. These data can be available. You can ask Randy Goodman or any other realtors. They'll be happy to share with it what we have, what we're expecting, what was the highest boom in 2021, and how the market collapsed in 2022 in February, and so on. And there was a big boom on 2016 and so on. And we had also in 2006 and 7 fiasco as well as in the past. So good to know the numbers wherever you're investing. So this is a compound the growth. We have to also look at it. Okay, fine, market goes up, market goes down. So what? Let's look at the back from last 23 years. What is the growth? If it goes up or down, if you're not doing anything with it, it doesn't matter. It's just the numbers. We don't even pay attention to it. Yes, the market if you notice the prices price-wise, yes, it has slid down. So if you look at that growth altogether combined, it's much better than a lot of other investments though. So here is the lending rate since 2014 of Bank of Canada. What happened with their rates and the national sales? Does it have some sort of a interaction with these two? Yes, we do. Look at right now, the sales interest rate goes up, sales intend to dive down. Well, this is from last 10 years, more or less. This is a Canadian real estate. Please take a picture if you like. From 2021, when the boom comes in, we have other data. I'm sorry, I forgot to add it in. I'd like to share next time with you, how you can follow the curve, how the market could be going. It's more or less a projection. It's not 100%, but it's a very good indicator for you. You want to know when was the highest prices? February 2022, 1.334, where we are now, 1.26. With a loss of 300,000. That's average. And these are the facts based from Toronto Real Estate Board. Okay. The facts will speak much, much louder than anybody's opinion, though. Here is something I wanted to Jerry to discuss it, but this thing I want you to please take a picture of this thing. I have discussed 3 different options. Is putting money $5,000 RSP. Is it worth it? How much saving would you have? Long-term, short-term, and what would be an average Canadian would be doing if you're only single person with 30-year-old, making about 50,000, how much you should contribute, what would be the tax refund, what would be the GST refund. If you happen to be paying the rent, what will be the refund? And if you're gonna get any benefit from the Ontario Trillium benefit, what happened if you're 30, making 50,000, paying $1,200 a month, 12,000 a year rent, but you got a one little child, what can be the refund you can have, what could be the GST credit, what could be the Trillium benefit, and the child benefit. And this is one of the winning combination, in my opinion, even though it's not part of it, our real estate, but it becomes part of it because most of us utilize RSP, part of our down payment plan. As I said earlier, I always love to educate more Canadians about their taxes and tax reductions. Since Jerry's not here, if you do not get a copy of it, you can please text me on WhatsApp. I'll be happy to send this slide to you. It can be very beneficial. The time is clicking. I do believe 29th of February is the last day to contribute to RSP for the 2023 session though. So, tenants, what exactly is happening? The nightmare for every landlord. A lot of landlords are getting stuck. Unfortunately, they do not know by default they become landlord. They do not understand the process of it. I shared a couple of times at the meeting, an average investor will rent a condo for $2,500, and a well-educated investor or apprentice will rent the same condo for $7,500. Yikes, $5,000 more for an educated investor. Now there are about 53,000 unresolved cases. It takes 5 months to wait, another 60 days, and another 2 months. All together, in my opinion, it's almost take about a year. And some people don't have enough money to keep paying the mortgage from their pocket and not collecting the rent. That is impacting about 1 million Canadians, Ontarians, I'm sorry, of course, Canadians. That's something. Here is something I want you to pay a little attention to it. What happened to builders? Does high interest take toll on everybody? Yes. 3 towers in Brampton under receivership for $10 million VTB. 20-story building in Vancouver in the West End, which is one of the best street on Robson Street. Anybody been to Vancouver knows what Robson Street is all about. It's the most beautiful street. 162 properties in Calgary. And there are 5 properties being sold for $1. $1, 5 properties, and 203 homes in derelict in Edmonton. So those who want to know a little bit more about it, text me. We'll share with you how you can capitalize on these type of properties. And there are a lot more, 11 of them in Toronto and a couple of them in Scarborough, whatever, and maybe 20 of them in London, Ontario. A lot of stuff coming in the pipe or the funnel, and make sure you learn how to handle that, how you can make a good fortune and you can work on the deal. Surprise, surprise, this is the biggest scam, another one. This guy, 3 guys took a lot of properties, $144 million. Everything started with Northern Ontario deals. They're originally from Toronto, from Ontario. Darren Suter, Ryan Maloney, Aruba Butt, and they are about 11 cases. A lot of money, 631 properties, 200 of them sitting empty, 300 lawyers, 32 lawyers, 1,000 tenants. And this is an ugly building in Hamilton sitting vacant. They're trying to push people out. So this is when people go overboard. We have seen it before in Saskatchewan. They have taken a couple hundred properties just like that. If you're going to be an investor, you have to do your due diligence. You don't have to go the hype. Do your proper due diligence. Otherwise, you will be the next victim. So these are the 2 mortgage brokers. Greg Martel, $220 million out from the investors. Claire Drake, she's the one who was asking investors, hey, lend the money on promissory note. Now there's a lot of $140 million on the line. She is also from Hamilton. So if you heard of them, be aware of them. Please do not go with the full blinders on. It's okay to speak to a lawyer. It's okay to speak to CPA. It's okay to speak to good mortgage brokers. If you're going to invest any of your money in mortgages, private mortgages, so on, deal with the reputable people who've been around 20, 30, 40 years. But the credentials is important for you to know. So here is the deal I'd like to share with you. Where is the market going? So this piece of property was listed for sale for $1.8 million 2022. Guess what happened? It just got sold for $845,000 by a mortgage company. If you look at the history, it's a beautiful, nice house. David, are you still there? David Grossman?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. its market value is over 1 million. It sold for 845. It's about 150 to almost 200,000 below market value. Are you familiar with this neighborhood, David?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a small town, so I believe I know where those properties are.
Right.
And it's a very nice house. I think whoever was trying to, hoping, dreaming, thinking they would get 1.8 million was dreaming in Technicolor to begin with. So that's way over the top. But yeah, I mean, there's good deals out here, and it's a very fast growing town here in Wasaga Beach. They're redeveloping the entire beachfront. Um, and there's definitely good opportunities up here, and it's a day trip. One of the reasons we moved up here is because if you need to get to Toronto, we have older kids in Toronto still. I have a 95-year-old dad, so we can drive in. It's an hour and 20 minutes, right? We're just about 25 minutes northwest of Barrie on Georgian Bay. Beautiful, longest freshwater beach in the world.
Excellent. Listen, if you look at the history, they listed in 22, I'm sorry, and January 21st for 1.799. And then again, when everything took toll, and when they started doing power sale, they listed for 930, did not sell, 899 didn't sell, 899 didn't sell. Even in the power sale, it took a long time to resell. But based upon the fact, if any realtor, any mortgage broker, investor looking at the property, based upon the property location and comparables, this property should be sold for 1.05. So whoever got this deal for 845 got a discount of $200,000. Just thought I should share with you that how the market has shifted, how the mindset has shifted, and people are losing it, unfortunately, though. So here are some of the losses and some are the gainers. Who's losing the most money while the disruption happened on 2022? Number one is Burlington, and then Kitchener, Mississauga, Markham, then condo owners of Mississauga, Victoria, and Barrie. And if you look at even Halifax, Richmond, and Calgary have seen some value up, by the way. It's just the fact is Wild West, Calgary, BC, Richmond are good. Even the East Coast in Maritimes, one of the best place in my opinion. Halifax, one of the best in Nova Scotia, by the way, are the thing. The market has gone substantially higher in Vancouver. An average house is up by $208,000. So when we say a blanket statement, hey, what's happening in Canada, we can pick and choose and say, these are the areas which properties have gone up and certain areas properties have gone down. So this is how properties have gone down. And only places which we can see it here, the Calgary's gone up by 17,000. This is from the peak to now. Average homeowner lost 378,000 in Oakville, Milton. And you can keep looking at it all the way. Even Vancouver had losses, by the way, but it's recovering. And even Edmonton was slow, by the way, and so is the Calgary. Calgary have the only one which has gone up. Edmonton was at a loss, and now it's going to be changing altogether. So this is a Cochrane. This is a 5 properties. It's close to city of Timmins. Can you buy those 5 properties for $1? The answer is yes. And it was sold. The city have sold. These are the vested properties. The city became the owner by default, and they wanted to create affordable housing program. So they give in to the Cochrane Social Services Administration Board for $1. And this is going to go through the channel. I think it's almost gone through though. Just thought I should share with you. So these are the most stable real estate markets, in my opinion. St. John twice. Those who know St. John's and Calgary. And Calgary home prices are up by 10.5% compared to the last year. which is the good price. And this is some homes in Toronto. Is it Toronto? Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. This is already done by our friend Randy. Now, new condo market that is built are new condos. They're offering Ferrari, no, sorry, Porsche, offering some sort of car incentive, 100,000 vacation. Builders do not want to take a little cut on the price, and they don't rather not shave it. They'd rather give you something incentive just to sustain the market value. They do not want to devaluate the current market or the future market. And this is the old trick from the builders. They will sell you what they have been selling for, and they never want to mess up their future market. And for this is another home, which some of you might know that this is a Jim Peterson's home. It was only the home for sale, not the lot. It was a big thing in the newspaper. Just thought I should check with you. And that was a big thing for the newspaper and the media at one time. So pre-construction home buyers are going towards the bankruptcy lawyers. And this is sad to see. But now there are not that many options left for some of those speculators, though. So those who know it, Cochrane is selling the building lot for $50,000 for $10. Please take this number. Call them up tomorrow. See when are they getting rid of this. This is not the first time they have done it. They've done it second time, by the way. It's a beautiful place to go if you can afford to get a job in the mining industry. This is a good place to even raise a family. Small town worth about 5,000 people. Yes, you can buy a lot worth $50,000. That'll be the appraised value. You're going to be paying $10 for it as long as you can go in there, build the house, rent it, or live there. This is another nightmare for the builder. These are anybody here from Vancouver? Anybody here from Vancouver? I know the time difference. So, or a lot of Vancouver people love to see this thing on YouTube. So these are the two properties which were the builder bought it for 60 million, hoping to resell for 80. And they were hoping this is the most beautiful view in the west side on those who are familiar with the Belmont Avenue area in the west, Van West. Now they are reselling it for 47. Right now it is taken over by those people or homeless people, they call squatters. And it's sad to see the property worth 60 million. The builder have to resell for 47. Hey, and who said the builders don't lose money? We all get in, we all get suffered. This is something I wanted to share with you, that in Toronto, there are some pockets where property do not appreciate. They simply multiply. This property got sold for 2 million. Now they're asking about 12, 6 times the money. Okay, it's still available for sale. The last time I checked, but again, it's one of those areas where it's hard to get in, and those who are familiar with this area, it's 12 million bucks. It's not a big of a deal, but it is the neighborhood in the North Shore. These are the areas where we have reinvented our river, man-made river, which is Don River, and created about $1 billion invested by Canadian taxpayers' money. So this is area going to be about 593 acres. This is going to be developed further. This area, a lot of investors are going to go in there. In my opinion, this area is going to go on fire because for the next 10 years, this area will be developed. This is the only area left, in my opinion, which is Portland's flood protection project. And now it's completed. Those 3 new bridges are beautiful. I just only saw the pictures. It's man-made. And I do believe it has started now. And traffic's going through the bridges, by the way. But that's all I know for sure. This is common. All the shopping centers need to be transferred to condos. They're not making money. Most of the shopping centers are losing money. This is, you will find that most of the shopping centers are going to convert into condos, and even the office towers are turning into those areas. This is only for the rich. This is the recent poll. And what people are saying, hey, listen, the home is only for what? Rich Canadians. 71% of the Canadian renters have given up. They will take it. This is never going to happen in our lifetime. That's why 65,000 Canadians have left Canada looking for another place to move their families, raise a family, because they find it's way too expensive to raise a family in Toronto, Vancouver, or Montreal. Can't afford it. These are number of townhouses got sold at a loss in 2023. Gonna skip this one for the time being. Why the inflation is so high? People talk about it. What exactly is the reason? Well, let me bring it only one thing to you. $500 billion pandemic-related money which was given out. That is causing us a lot of grief. Very simple, as I said earlier. One of the cheapest provinces to go in. This is where people are moving in, by the way, from New Brunswick to Newfoundland. Newfoundland is going to have humongous growth, by the way. Just the Newfoundland has, nobody have really tapped into it yet, though. People have gone to New Brunswick, and believe it or not, one of the best kept secret where we have gone in Yukon. Beautiful place. Average household income is about $100,000. Rents are excellent. Great place to invest, by the way. Is it getting cheaper to rent in Toronto? Yes and no. Right now, there are a lot of condos sitting empty because people can't afford the rent, and people are asking a ridiculous amount of rent. And now there are some issues that are happening. I mentioned to you about getting a lot for $10. This is the default loans. That's not a good news. When you default a credit card or a line of credit, you could lose your own home under the civil enforcement. We are seeing some properties being came in the court from London, Ontario, St. Thomas, Ontario, Toronto, Ontario, where people are going to lose the home because they didn't pay the credit card. Sad, but truth. This is the future. This is we're in Toronto as well as Vancouver. You're able to convert your single family home to 4 to 6 units. This is what happened in Toronto, in the Casa Loma area, one of the most expensive part of Toronto, where somebody have converted a single family home to 10 units. This is where the money is going to be for next 10 years. Converting single family to 10 units gonna be the game changer for investors. This is gonna be for long term. This is totally different ballgame. This is again projection. The house price may gonna fall for another 5 to 10%. Apart from Vancouver and Calgary, there are two markets which are running strong. Edmonton is falling up. The Toronto market have not recovered yet, and the price is still down. Again, based upon the facts, if you're going to be doing something or want to get rid of some property, just wait until it stabilizes. It's better to sell at that time, though. So here is something I mentioned to you before on Ritz-Carlton, 1-bedroom condo renting for $7,500. Others are renting the same unit for $2,500. Just thought I'd just share with you. I'm going to skip all this for the time being. Cost of homeowners. We're going to be getting into our networking meeting because I wanted to finish in 90 minutes. We are up 90 minutes. Anybody have any questions? Feel free to ask us. We'll be happy to answer it for you. What we're going to do is we're going to open up everybody so you can talk. Everybody's requested to turn your cameras on, please. And we are going to have open network. We can talk to anybody and everybody. David, are you still there? David Grossman?
Yes, I am. I am here. Yes.
Can you take in charge of the room, please? All right. Everybody, please turn your cameras on and you can unmute yourself.